Yo, what is good, guys? It's your boy VGOK here, and I'm back with another VGOK trading video for you guys today. And I hope you're all doing amazing and are trading safely in the markets also. Now, today's video is going to be another case study video, and this time it's going to be on Gbpusd, a buy scenario executed within New York session. In the end, this trade achieved a risk to reward of 1 to 10.5. Which is absolutely amazing. However, I did take the majority of my profits off at 1 to 8 roughly, and this trade was an example of a re-accumulation style of trade. Now also, if you guys want to have access to these style of trades, these sorts of trades, live when I'm actually catching them and calling them out, then please do drop me a message about my mentorship program that I do have on offer. I'll be able to let you know on all the details of that as well. But yeah, there was a couple members within the mentorship group that were able to catch this live with me and profit alongside with me as well. So yeah, if you are interested in that, then please do let me know. But with all that being said, let's jump straight into the analysis. So jumping straight into the screenshots as usual, and what we've got right here on screen is the before screenshot. So as you can see, we did have a big manipulation of price around this sort of 1:30 p.m. time right in here. And what we can see in this area here is we saw a big sell to buy movement, taking out any liquidity before this trend line over here, below the trend line, and then having a sharp move in the opposite direction to the upside, indicating to us that we do have a break of structure to the upside and a bullish trend is going to continue. Then we do have this bullish point of interest in here, which I've outlined. So we do have a nice rally-based rally point of interest within there, which we do see price come into and then, give a positive movement away from. So we know that this demand zone here was valid, which then gave me, confidence to go for the entry around this sell to buy region over here and having the stops at the lows over here as well. So that is the before screenshot over there. This is the sort of during the trade. So as the trade is sort of progressing. And as you can see, there is another level of liquidity created over here as well, but it does decide to go and break structure further, so we're all good. And I did at this time right in here, after we had the break of structure to the upside right in here in this movement, I did look to move my stop loss just under this low in here to have that reduced risk. And as we can see, the final sort of screenshot right in there, this is where we saw price get up to a supply zone based off the 5-minute time frame, which I'll be going into in just a second. But then we can see that it actually did go up the entirety of 1 to 10.5 risk to reward. But yeah, I did look to close off the majority of the profits at 1 to 8, which I'll show you exactly why right now. So jumping straight into the actual trading view analysis of this trade, we're going to have a look into a lot more detail now of how this trade sort of came about and why we're looking to get into the trade and the reasons behind it. So as we can see from the London session of that day of execution, we can see a big strong movement to the upside, a build-up of liquidity, equal high liquidity over here, and a creation of this bullish point of interest. As we go into these lower time frames onto the 5-minute as well, we can start to see how they were made up of, what exactly the zones that were actually made up of in there. So at the moment, this zone here, which I've labeled on here, is the 3-minute demand zone. So this being the 3-minute demand zone right in here, we did see price come into it quite nicely and show signs of really nice bullishness coming in. But then as we can see, as price did progress, we did see this creation of this trend line, creating liquidity nicely before the 1:30 p.m. news. So something just to sort of take notice of right there. And as we go into the 1-minute time frame, I'm just going to cut the chart off here so we can sort of map it along. When we go into the 1-minute time frame, we can see that that 3-minute order block was sort of created from what it was made up of. And right here at this blue line right here is where I've put the extreme sort of mitigation area, so where that full imbalance fill on the 1-minute would be. And it turns out that it nicely looks that imbalance fill is nicely below this trend line. And we can see with the news event at 1:30, the whole sort of objective and the whole purpose of the news itself was to basically take out liquidity below this trend line and get into this imbalance fill area right in here, mitigate any sort of previous manipulation in this area, and then see a good movement to the upside. And that's exactly what we saw in here. We saw good sell to buy movement, as I mentioned earlier, liquidity taken out below this trend line, and we do see a good break of structure to the upside and creation of this liquidity as well, which is quite important for our bullish targets. But with that being said, let's see sort of how the trade progresses as we sort of forward the price. So we can see right in here, price does come into our, main point of interest that we were looking into, and it does give a really strong movement away right in there. And as we sort of forward the price even further, we can see exactly it does look to take out the equal high. So it's confirmation again of creating a further higher high, keeping the bullishness intact right there. So it does look pretty good for it to look to continue from this sort of point of interest, which is what gave me validity to go for the entry. And as we sort of forward the price and see how it comes into the entry, so after this little wick up here, now normally one of my confirmations is if price comes very quickly towards my entry, I'm not going to be looking to enter. I want to see it come nice and slowly to the entry. Now this is only unless obviously if price can come down to the entry, but if it slows down and starts consolidating here, then there is another chance of getting an entry here. And as you can see, as it spiked just around here, it would have just missed out any limits had I set any. But then, as price does look to come back down, we look to get our entry, and I did market execute around that region. So as we start to see right in here, there we go, price comes into our entry right in there quite nicely. And as we sort of see how price develops after this, we do see it continue going bullish. Now it does look to consolidate a fair little bit in here. We do see a decent profit forming in this area right here, and then it does look to create some degree of equal lows in this region right in here before it does break further structure. Now because it's broken further structure, there's a good chance that it will probably just leave this for later on. And as we actually have a look later on, we'll see that this liquidity here actually looks to get taken out the following day. So as we see how price develops, so we do have a bullish break of structure right there, and now the main thing is to establish our main sort of take profit areas. So the main take profit area for me in this area would have been around this 23750 to 238 region. Now mainly 750 because it's a nice quarter level, and you can see exactly why I look to choose these areas. So 750, this line is here, and we can see price gets up to there very accurately, and then we start to see that major drop down. So it's a really good idea to have good targets there. But ultimately, if we change the time frame to the 5-minute time frame right now, we can see exactly in here a nice buy to sell 5-minute order block right in here, a supply zone. We can see how it looks to take out liquidity just above this trend line in here. We can see multiple touches of this this bearish trend line in here. So 1, 2, 3 touches of this trend line, and then we see the 5-minute buy to sell manipulation. So price spikes above the trend line, even above these equal highs in here. As you can see, as we zoom in, we'll be able to see a lot more clearly. We can see this rough set of wicks over here can be counted as liquidity, as they're very relatively equal highs. Price really nicely spikes up into there and then drops back down, which is really nice to see. So that would be our main supply zone, which we're looking to take majority of our profits in, pretty much all of the profits, the rest of the profits, but mainly most of the profits I was looking to take them around that 238 level, this imbalanced fill region, and near that 750 region, which gave us that 1 to 8 risk to reward roughly of majority of those profits. And then the rest of the position I was looking to sort of close out around that 950 level, that 23950, giving us that risk reward of 1 to 10.5. And as we look to see how price developed, you can see it does consolidate a bit longer, but then it does eventually look to hit the final take profit region right in there. So it's a really nice trade to see, bullish trade, caught it the right way. It was with the trend, it was a pro trend trade, in keeping with this previous uptrend that we've been sort of seeing, and we sort of saw the re-accumulation playing out in London session, or starting off in London session and then playing out further in New York session. And seeing that the news had a really good agenda in this timing, it was basically to manipulate and move price higher. So that was a really nice movement there for GBPUSD. And something else I just want to touch on before I look to end this video is just sort of look how price returned to that similar level the following day. Now something I didn't quite I didn't manage to pick up on the following day, but we did have with this low in here. So as price came into my original entry from this day, it made liquidity with this low. So had I have held overnight, I probably would have been taken out for break even. So it's a good thing that I took most of the profits up there, if not pretty much all of the profits up there. But as we can see, as the following day progressed, we saw price come back into this area, create liquidity with this low in here, so equal lows created. And as I sort of come back to this price action in here, and we can see one of the losses that I took on the Friday right in there. We can actually see, there's the equal low liquidity being created, and as I forward the price in here, we're going to be able to see how it deals with this liquidity. So it's approaching liquidity, so it's either going to be looking to respect this low or look to just about take it out. So a small movement below it, and then sharp movement upwards. That's the two sort of scenarios we're waiting for in this stage. And as we sort of forward the price, we can see price does jump fairly strongly below the level, and then we see how price looks to react, big strong bullish candles to follow, which is amazing to see. And as we sort of see how it develops, it's created us a nice point of interest in here. So this sell to buy candle is even nicely broken structure above this point in here now as well, which is good to see. So as we can see how price develops, it comes into this demand zone in here, and as we sort of see how it follows on, it does give proof of this demand in here. So I was paper trading this at the time, so I did put a position on TradingView, but I didn't physically take the trade like this, and it was a shame to see that it actually worked out in the end. As you can see, the movement into the zone again to retest the demand, and then off it goes. And as we see how it would have progressed as price develops, we can see it comes all the way back up to this area, and price action from the previous day near those highs at 239.50 actually created liquidity at that level. So that was going to be the next area of taking profit had I've got in on this area. But yeah, this would have been a fantastic trade as well. Could have given us another 1 to 10 the following day, but didn't quite get that. One trade that I did take, as you can see from this markup right in here, is the reaccumulation that followed. So if we look into the 3-minute time frame, we can see a nice rally-based rally forming in here. So again, same sort of scenario in here. We've got the demand zone, we're waiting for proof of the demand zone, and then looking to get in. So as we sort of see how price develops, we can see price gets into the zone quite nicely in there. And as I go into the 1-minute time frame, we're going to have a look a little bit deeper into this. So we can see right in there, price comes into the demand zone, and a nice order block created for us with a nice imbalance fill, and definite break of structure to the upside in this movement upwards. So validity for this trade was good. And as we sort of see how this one progresses, it comes into the entry nicely, does retest it a couple times, consolidates around there a lot, but then eventually does look to travel higher, and around market close it does end up around here, I believe about 1 to 4, 1 to 5 risk to reward ratio. So as you can see, if I get out of the replay mode, we'll see how it ends up. So it does look to sort of travel and take out this area here. So another 1 to 4 floating, of which I banked around 2%. So it's pretty nice to end the week with a little win like that. So yeah, that's pretty much the whole analysis on that GBPUSD, and a bit of a bonus for you guys there as well on the following day's price action in here, explaining this reaccumulation, and then obviously the one that followed, which was a bit easier in my opinion to follow and trade. So there we have that full breakdown of that GBPUSD buy scenario, which achieved the 1 to 10 risk to reward. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video and took value from it and learned something. And if you did, please do give it a like, please do share and subscribe to the channel as well. It really does mean a lot. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video for more of that trading source.